Welcome, everybody, to, I believe, the 48th class in this Bhagavad Gita study series. We are slowly creeping towards the 50 mark, and we are studying the 10th chapter, Dashamodhyayaha, Vibhuti Yoga. Very beautiful chapter on the yoga of the glories of divine manifestation. Vibhuti means a glory or divine manifestation. In the Yoga Sutras, the third chapter is called Vibhuti Pada, the section on Vibhutis of yoga, or the glories, the siddhis from yoga. So Vibhuti is the glories. But in the Yoga Shastra, is a text that is like a scientific doctrine, whereas this is a poetry. So here, the context of Vibhuti, it's much more poetic and glorious. As usual, we would like to acknowledge Swami Paramarthananda Saraswati for the traditional rendering of Vedanta as it was done for over 1,000 years, starting with Adi Shankaracharya. We'll say a small prayer before we start. Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha Sada Shiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Salutations to the lineage starting with Lord Sadashiva, with Adi Shankaracharya in the middle, and continuing up to our immediate teacher, Swami Paramarthananda Saraswati. So, with that, we will pick up where we left last time. So, we completed the 10th verse last time, and Bhagavan says, "To them, the ever steadfast, who worship me filled with love, I give them the yoga of discrimination by which they reach me." And the common example that is quoted in the um, Vedanta is uh, is the wave and the ocean example. So we are all like waves. So wave relationship is incidental. So the relationship you have with somebody else in this lifetime is incidental. The wave ocean relationship is fundamental. So the ocean is like Brahman, the vast consciousness. Wave, we are all the individual entities which have the reflected consciousness. It is water. Still, it's the one and the same, the consciousness, but it looks a little different. So it's like a nama rupa with the matter. And this fundamental relationship is known only through jnana yoga and through nididhyasana. So that is what Bhagavan is trying to say. And then comes a very important verse. Tesham evanukampatam aham ajnanajam tamaha nashayam yatma bhavastaha jnanadhipena bhasvata. Out of mere compassion for them, I, residing in their intellect, destroy the darkness born of ignorance. By what? By the luminous light of knowledge. It's a very important verse. It may sound, a lot of these verses may sound very cliche. He's saying the same thing. Oh, I'm shining the light, I'm doing this. But there's a whole meaning behind this. And that is what Adi Shankaracharya gives it out to us. He is telling this in this context because of this reason. So, first, it's a very beautiful verse. So, let's reorganize the poetry into prose form. Tesham means for them. Evanukampatam. So, if you split it, anukampa, artham eva. Artha means object or as a purpose. Anukampam means compassion. So anukampam artha eva. Eva means only for the sake of, or for the sake of mere compassion, for the object as an object of mere compassion. Aham nashayami. So aham ajnanajam tamaha nashayami. So aham nashayami. I destroy. What does he destroy? And how does he destroy? He destroys using Bhasvata Jnana Deepe. So Jnana Deepena Bhasvata, you have to split it as Bhasvata Jnana Deepena. Bhasvatam means luminous. Jnana Deepa means the light of knowledge. By the luminous light of knowledge, he destroys something. What does he destroy? Nashayami Atma Bhava Stitaha Tamaha. Atma Bhavaha means that which resides in the Atma. Now remember, I've told Atma means different in different contexts. Atma can mean the consciousness. Atma just means self. What is a self? Self can mean the consciousness. Self can mean this entity, mind body complex. Self can also mean the mind. Here, Atma, when it's used, it is refers to the mind. And what portion of the mind? Mind has four portions we've seen, right? Manaha, Buddhi, Ahankara, and Chitta. Chitta is the closest to the consciousness. So these four. Now this refers to intellect, because only with the intellect you can destroy ignorance. So here, Atma Bhavastitaha Tamaha. Tamaha means ignorance, dullness, Ajnanajam. And how is this tamaha born? Out of ignorance. Ajnana, ja means to be, arise, to born, to be born. Ajnanajam tamaha means which is born out of ignorance. Very beautiful shloka, very important shloka. Now we will go into, because if you just read it like this, oh, Bhagavan is shining the light, Bhagavan is lighting a lamp, what's he doing? So there's a whole lot of meaning. What is Shankaracharya is explaining this? What is Bhagavan trying to say? Jnanam is the only way to moksha. Eventually, all paths converge. I mean, eventually, you have to remember, we've talked about this. Elementary school, high school. In order to graduate, you have to go through high school. All the others are practices. It is only when you get the knowledge, you go. You can take tuition classes and all that to go through fast without repeating classes. That's like bhakti. Bhakti gives an accelerated and easy path to go through that. So Krishna says, I will light the lamp of wisdom in the mind of the Vishwarupa Bhaktaha, those who are able to see, who are a little more advanced, who are able to see the entire universe as my manifestation. Remember, there are three types of bhakta: Manda Bhakta, Madhyama Bhakta, Uttama Bhakta. Manda Bhakta means beginner or dull student. Madhyama Bhakta, and that person just thinks of God as this Krishna form, the Vishnu form, Shiva form. Then the Madhyama Bhakta, intermediate student, thinks of the entire universe as not as God's creation. See, this is the difference. It is God manifesting. Okay, so that is the Madhyama Bhakta, and then comes the Uttama Bhakta, is the highest form. Is right now this person is not there yet. This person, Bhagavan is preparing that person to go to the final stage through the knowledge and then get liberated. Uttama Bhakta, by the knowledge, that person knows Aham Brahmasmi, that same consciousness that's created this, manifested as the entire universe, that is shining in me. I am that same. Even though I look like a small wave, I am the same content as the ocean. Is it clear? So, and how will I light the lamp of wisdom? He's told that previously, by providing a teacher an opportunity to study the scriptures. This is told in the Upanishads. When the person starts on this path, things will come. Bhagavan will know it's ready, and it's not like Bhagavan is interfering, it's law of nature. When you do certain things, you are opening up pathways, you are more receptive to pathways. A teacher will come and you will have opportunity to study the scriptures. Without becoming a Brahmajnani, there is no question of moksha at all. Bhakti will not take one to moksha, but will provide the opportunity with a settled and finely tuned mind to understand the knowledge of the self. Um, so these verses are important because many people think that without Brahmajnanam, knowledge of the consciousness, that by going through a different bhakti route, by like Swamiji will joke, like the route to Amarnath, try to circumvent, if you do all that, then you can get liberation. No, the Jnana route is the only route to liberation. Bhagavan very clearly says, no shortcut, you have to gain knowledge. If you don't want to gain knowledge, remember 8th chapter, you will go to Brahmaloka. If you remember God at the time of death, you will go to Brahmaloka. And who's going to teach you there? Brahmaji himself, 24/7. You won't feel tired, you won't feel thirsty, nothing. You will just get the knowledge from Brahmaji, and then you'll get liberated. That is called Krama Mukti. It's in stages. So far, everything clear? Yeah. Okay. Now comes the different portions. First, Bhagavan introduces Ishvara Vibhuti, the glories. Then he talks about Ishvara Swarupam and Vibhuti, that is the nature of God, and then gives Vishvarupa Bhakta, description of the devotee who worships Ishvara as the entire form of the universe. He talks about that devotee. And before that, he talks about Ishvara Swarupam, the nature of God as the manifestation of this universe. Now, Arjuna, it has piqued Arjuna's curiosity. Arjuna requests for Vibhuti Varnanam, the glories. Varnanam means details, description. So he is asking for the description of Ishvara's glories. That is what comes in 12 through 18, 7 shlokas. Okay, now, so summary so far. The lot of this, we have to condense and look at the summary. Bhagavan says, I am the cause of this universe. I alone am manifesting or appearing as every object in the universe. Like a spider creates the thread and it is also the spinner. I am both the material and the instrumental cause. All these examples in the Upanishads, I'm not using these examples. By glory, my glory is manifesting through every object in the creation. So Arjuna wants to know a list of glorious, attractive, and beautiful things in the creation. Special things. The mind gravitates towards something beautiful, glorious, and wonderful. You don't just pick up a simple rock and say, "Oh, the rock is very beautiful." Yeah, some people think have something missing. So, but if you look at a beautiful snow-capped mountain, Himalayas, then you say, "How beautiful! Wow, who could have created something like that?" So he is asking for all the glorious things in the creation that Bhagavan has created. Of course, everything is glorious, but he's asking for the things that captivate our eyes. We can take that attractive object as a symbol of Lord to meditate upon. Okay, so that's why some people meditate on Mount Kailash. It is a symbol of Bhagavan. So we will start with the 12th shloka. Arjuna Uvacha Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vibhum Ahustvam Rishayah Sarve Devarshirnaradastata Asito Devalo Vyasaha Swayam Chaiva Pravishime. So these two flow together, so they have to be read together. Now we'll split them and see the meaning of each one. So Arjuna says, Param Brahma, you are that supreme Brahman. Then he says, Param Dhama. So Dhama has, you can use two meanings here. Both are apt. Dhama means abode. You are that supreme abode. Or you can say, you are that supreme light of consciousness. Both meanings are okay, Swamiji says. So you are that supreme Brahman, and you are that supreme abode, or you are that supreme light of consciousness. Pavitram Paramam Bhavan. Pavitra means the holy, pure, Pavitram, Paramam Pavitram Bhavan. You are that supremely holy one. Look at the Arjuna's words now, it's like increasing his pitch. He's just revering Bhagavan. He knows this person is not a buddy he was playing with. He's not a king, he's not a cowherd, he's not a friend. He is some supreme entity. Look at the words he's using to describe all that. So all these also show that Arjuna, his vocabulary was good. He did well in school. I studied all the scriptures, so he's quoting, left borrowing things from the scriptures also. So he's going to use another word. Purusham Shashvatam Divyam. You are the Shashvatam means eternal, without end. Purusha, the eternal Purusha, the indweller in all the bodies. What is that? That's the consciousness. Then Shashvatam Divyam, Adi Devam Ajam Vimum. Adi Devam, you are the primal God, you are the ancient God. Adi means without a beginning, ancient. Ajam, you are the unborn. And Vibhuhu means you're all pervading. So he's using all these words and it's going to continue. Ahustvam Rishayak Sarve. So all the rishis speak of you thus. So Ahutas Tvam Sarve Rishayaha. um, all these rishis speak of you. Devarshi, Naradastata, Devarishi, Narada. There are Raja rishis, Brahma rishis, and then there is Deva rishis. He's a divine rishi. So Narada is considered a great rishi. Narada speak of you like that. And he's going to say how he's going to speak. So also Asita. So Asita is the name of a rishi, a sage. Then Devalaha. Devalaha is the name of his son. Asita's son is Devalaha. And Vyasa. So Vyasa is the one who wrote everything down. And he's also putting his name inside. So, but Vyasa does, the legend goes that when Vyasa wrote, actually Vyasa did not write the Mahabharata, Ganesha wrote the Mahabharata. Vyasa said it, and Ganesha wrote it down. The gods became very, they're just fascinated by the book. Devas, they came and stole it from Manushas. So the written version was gone. But one of the students of Vyasa has heard the entire thing and he could remember all the verses or most of the verses. And that is the version that we know. And that person is Vaishampayana. And Vaishampayana tells it to Janamejaya. Janamejaya is the um, grandson of Abhimanyu, or great grandson of Arjuna. Arjuna, Abhimanyu, Parikshit, Janamejaya. Parikshit is bitten by a snake and he passes away. Okay? Um, Takshaka is the name of the snake. And everything in Mahabharata has a karma associated with it. Why does Takshaka bite Parikshit? There's the karma. Karma is that Parikshit's grandfather is Arjuna. Arjuna destroyed a forest, Khandavana. He destroyed, and all the snakes which were trying to escape, he just shot them all. Takshaka alone escaped. So all of Takshaka's relatives were destroyed. Then Takshaka wanted to take vengeance on the lineage of Arjuna. That is why its fate had it that Takshaka will come and bite Parikshit. So Parikshit's fate is that he would die. And so Janamejaya, the son, did not know about it. And then one day from his mother, he knows the son, Subhadra, he knows that my father has died because of the snake bite. Then he conducts a big yagna. Yeah, yagna, it's a big fire worship where he calls all the Brahmins and he says, chant these mystical verses that will make draw all the snake and let them fall into the fire. So snakes from everywhere, they were just drawn by this, and it's like moths going into a fire. You see, fire is going to kill the moth, but the moths are drawn to that and they die. Like that, all the snakes come and jump into the fire. And then somebody stops the fire, stops this yajna, and that was the time when um, Janamejaya is interested a little bit. Okay, you're talking about Arjuna. I don't know anything about Arjuna. Now tell me the story. So Vaishampayana starts from the beginning. And Janamejaya is impatient. You just tell me, there's two verses, just tell me about Arjuna. But he starts from the beginning, and then he's trying, Janamejaya gets more and more interested, and Vaishampayana tells the entire story. So that's the whole story. But Vyasa is the one who narrated the entire thing. but he's not the narrator for us. That is Vaishampayana. So in the Vishnu Sahasranam also it says Vaishampayana uvacha and Shutva Dharmana Seshena Bhavanan. So that Vicha Sarvashaha. So he's the narrator. So Vyasa now Swayam Chaiva Bravishi me. Swayam, you yourself tell me about your glories. So I know all this is true because all the great rishis have told about this. Now, this I told you this chapter has all these names, which means their stories about. So we will look at the story of Narada. Narada is called Kalaha Priya. Kalaha means like confusion or some, it's like mischief. You can look at him as a mischief monger or a divine guide. Through his own ways, he will create kalakam. Kalakam means some turmoil to guide people in the right way. So, would you like to know the story of Narada, how Narada came about? So, the, the process of creation is initiated periodically by Chaturmukha Brahma, not Brahman. This is the four-headed Brahma. During one such process, Brahma created four sons from his heart: Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanatana, and Sanat Kumara. It was his hope that these four sons will in turn beget progeny of their own, laying the foundation for the elaborate creation. However, blessed as they were at birth with the purifying glance of Bhagavan Sri Hari, they had little desire to engage in mundane pursuits like raising children, having children. They preferred contemplation of the divine Hari. When they saw Hari, they got their blessing to have many children and to have all the means to raise the children. But what did they say? We've seen Bhagavan. We want to contemplate on Sri Hari. So they preferred contemplation of the divine as a whole lifetime occupation. Full-time occupation is worshipping Bhagavan. And so what happened to Brahma? Brahma created these guys so that they could create more people. So Brahma was totally unhappy. He was angry. We saw that he was angry, in fact, with these four who did little to further the cause of creation. Brahma brought forth another 10 sons. We've seen this before, right? Known as Prajapatis, and charged them with the task of starting dynasties of their own. Though Narada was the 10th son, due to Bhagavan's blessings obtained in the previous birth, he shunned the worldly life and engaged in singing Lord's praises. And now comes his mischief. Another of the sons of the 10 sons was Daksha Prajapati. He was more amenable to his father's wishes, and he gave birth to 1,000 children called Haryasvas. Hari. So, for furthering the process of creation. However, Narada, finding these children naturally inclined to devotion, he would come and teach them about Hari, all that, and he turned them away from worldly ways through wise counsel, which made them all sannyasis. All the 1,000 children became ascetic sannyasis. Then Daksha was furious. I created 1,000 children so they can multiply into million. And now look, Narada, what you're doing. Frustrated Daksha begot another 1,000 children whom he hoped would carry on the line of succession. These children too, under the tutelage of Narada, renounced worldly life and took to sannyasa. Narada could not bear the thought of seeing good people being wasted for furthering samsaric bondage. He thought if they are not singing the praises of Lord Hari, they are getting into bondage, the mess, the mud hole of samsara. He wants to liberate everybody. So he has good intention, but what is he causing? He is causing kalakam. He is causing a lot of problem for Daksha, for Brahmaji, and for everybody. That is Narada's story. Um, so Daksha was very angry. So he cursed Narada. You will always be wandering. You will never have a home because you are not making homes for these people to create children. You will never have a home. So that's why you see Narada wandering everywhere and he is teaching. So That is the story of Narada. Sarvam etadrutam manye yanmam vadasi Keshava nahi te bhagavan vyaktim vidurdevana dhanavaha. Sarvam etadrutam sarvam manye, which means rutam means satyam, truth, authentic, reliable information. Etad, all these, mam vadasi Keshava, whatever you say to me, etad rutam manye, manye means I think of them all as truth. O Keshava, nahite bhagavan vyaktim vidur devana dhanava. Vyaktim means manifestation. Vyaktim, avyaktim. So your divine manifestation is known neither to the devas or the danavas. Or the danavas means asuras. So neither the devas nor the danavas know your divine your manifestation, O Lord. So he is, look at his appreciation for Krishna. In the third chapter, he is saying, you are confusing me. So, but he was just saying, Vyamishrenaiva vakyena buddhim mohayasiva me tadekam vada nishchitya yena shreyoham apnuan. Cut out all that nonsense. Just, you're confusing me with conflicting messages. Just tell me what is right. That's how his tone was. Now look at his tone. So it's changed a lot. So we've also seen, because nobody, neither the gods nor the asuras, know the true form. We've seen this in the how the gods were taught a lesson by Brahman. We've seen that before. Hope you remember the story. So I won't repeat it now from the Kenopanishad. Swayam evatmanatmanam vetatvam purushottama bhuta bhavana bhutesha deva deva jagatpate. So verily you alone know yourself. Swayam eva atmana atmanam, by yourselves. Look at the words. Swayam eva, by only you alone. Atmana atmanam. Atmana means by the self. Atmanam is a noun. You will know yourself by yourself, by the self. Vetatvam, veta means to know, from Purushottama. He is now using a new word. Purusha Uttama, of all the Purushas, of all the beings. Yet Purusha refers to a being. You are the Purusha Uttama. You are the greatest of all the Purushas. The Purushas here refers to the Jivas. Bhuta Bhavana, you are the source of all beings. Bhuta means beings, Bhavana means source. Bhuta Isha, Lord of all beings. Isha means Lord. Deva Deva, you are the God of all gods. Deva Deva, Deva is God. Deva Deva means God of all gods. You are Jagatpati, you are the ruler of the world. Arjuna is increasing the namas, the names of the Lord. In the previous chapter, he used ordinary names, Keshava, Madhusudana. Oh, you are the killer of Keshi, or a killer of Madhu. Facts. Now, in the previous shloka, is the first time he uses the word Bhagavan. We've so far been hearing Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. So this is the first time he's using the word Bhagavan. So Bhagavan Vyaktim. So, and Bhagavan, so far we've been using this word, but what does it mean? So we'll see an elaborate explanation given by Shankaracharya. Why Vyasa uses the word Bhagavan in the in the Bhagavad Gita. So why does Arjuna want to hear the glories from Krishna alone? Because only Krishna knows the glories of the Purushottama, or the highest consciousness principle, Para Prakriti. Purusha refers to consciousness. It can be refers to Atma, but Purusha Uttama means it is the Para Prakriti. consciousness that pervades everything. Okay. First, we'll look at the meaning of Purusha Uttama. So the 15th chapter, it's called Purushottama Yoga. It is the yoga of the greatest Purusha. So in the 15th chapter, Krishna divides the universe into three categories. Kshara Purusha, or manifest matter. Then Akshara Purusha, this means unmanifested matter. You can say energy, but it refers actually to the subtle body, right? The subtle body, mind, all that you can't see. So you can't see that with the senses. So it is the unmanifested matter or energy. And then there is the Uttama Purusha. So all this in the 15th chapter, he'll say Uttama Purushastvanya Paramatme Tyudahritaha Yelokatrayama Vishya Vibhartapya Ishvaraha. Consciousness principle, Uttama Purusha. So, and the meaning of the word Bhagavan, I think it will come soon. Yeah, so we'll come to the word Bhagavan a little later. So right now we will go into the next shloka. Vaktum arhasya sheshena divyahyatma vibhutayah yabhir vibhuti bhir lokan iman tvam pyapya tishtasi katham vidyamaham yogim tvam sada parichintayan keshu keshu cha bhaveshu chintyosi bhagavan maya. These have to be read together. So Arjuna is now in like a narrating spree. He's just remembering all the words he's learned in his Gurukula days, and he's just left, right, center. He's showing off his vocabulary skills. He doesn't want people to think that he has nothing up here, all muscles, Mahabaho, right, mighty arm. But he's now proving I am also smart. So you should indeed completely Vaktum Arhasi. Asheshena means completely. Vaktum Arhasi. You ought to. It's not saying please give me. He says Vaktum Arhasi means you ought to. You should indeed. Divya Atma Vibhutaya. Your Atma Divya he indeed Atma Vibhutaya. Your Atma here means yourself, your divine glories. Yabir Vibhutir Lokan, Yabir, by which glories Tvam Vyapyatishtasi, you pervade these worlds through these glories. Okay, so now Arjuna wants to know that, and he says, Katham Vidya Aham Yogim, oh Yogi, Lord of all powers, Katham Vidyam Aham, how can I know? Vidya means knowledge. How can I know you, your true nature? Sada Parichintayan. Parichintayan means contempt. Pari means around, perimeter. The word peri, I think it comes from that. Perimeter, meter, like that. Parichintayan means from all angles, contemplating on you from all angles. Keshu, in what aspects? Chabhaveshu, are you keshu bhaveshu. And so in what aspects? Chintyosi Bhagavan Maya, by me, Maya, by me. Chintyosi, are you to be thought of or meditated by me, O Lord? So he's asking, in what form should I choose to meditate you? Should I look at you as Mount Kailash? Should I look at you as a Shivalingam? Should I look at you as a Saligramam stone? For Vishnu Bhaktas, they use that to think of Vishnu. It is a symbol for meditation. Alambana for meditation. Because for meditation, you don't want to get your mind every place. You want to bring it to focus. So you need an object to focus on. You can think of Krishna and just worship, chant, or you can think of a mountain. That's fine too. So alambana for meditation. So Arjuna is asking about the alambanas. Even Patanjali talks about different alambanas. Swapna nidra jnanalambanam va yathapi mata dhyanatva. So he first talks about using people loving kindness. Maitri karuna muditopekshanam sukha dukkha punya vishayanam bhavanata chitta prasadanam. विषयवती वा प्रवृत्ति उत्पन्ना मनसः स्थिति निबंदिनी विशोका वा ज्योतिष्मती वीतराग विषयम वा चित्तम. Or the light, the effulgence that comes in your inside, the glowing effulgence, use that as an anchor to still your mind. Because when the mind is resting on an object, it becomes still. And even this Vishayavati va pravritti utpanna, which is saying when you're meditating, you think of ice cream or you smell masal dosa. Even that is a good alambana. Vishayavati va pravritti utpanna, it's arising manasaha sthiti nibandini, or a smell of rose that comes. All those are valid alambanas because it stills your mind. So now he's asking for all these alambana. So there are two alambanas: Pratima alambana, human form as Rama, Krishna, or Pratika alambana, Saligramam, Shivalingam, inert objects. So there are two types of alambanas. Vistarenatmano yogam vibhutim cha janadana bhuya kataya triptirhi shunvato nasti memrutam. Oh Janardana, tell me again in detail. He wants now detail. Vistarena, in detail. Atmana yoga cha vibhutim, your yoga, yogic powers, yogam, vibhutim cha, and the glories. Um, for I am never satisfied. Bhuya eva kataya triptirhi shunvato nasti me amritam. I am nasti tripti. I am never satisfied hearing the nectar of your words. Amritam, uh, so the nectar. So Amritam. So he says, Shunvato nasti me Amritam. Amritam means the nectar, nectar of your words. That's what it means. Okay. So he's buttering up Krishna to tell him all the glories. So he's now praising Krishna effusively. So that ends the Arjuna's request for the Vibhuti Varnanam, the detailed description. Now Bhagavan is the majority of the chapter is Bhagavan talking about his own glories. So later, when Yudhishthira asks for Bhagavan's glories, Bhagavan doesn't want to repeat it. He says, ask my Bhakta, Bhishmacharya, who's lying on the bed of arrows, to describe Bhagavan's greatness. Then he describes the Vishnu Sahasranama. That comes in the Mahabharata too. When Bhishma is lying on the bed of arrows, he's thirsty, parched, tired. Bhagavan blesses him with the energy to describe the glories, the beautiful, the names, the 1,000 names of Vishnu. So that is what we will enter into next. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Hantate Katayishyami Divyākyātma Vibhūtayah Pradhānyata Kuru Shrestha Nastyanto Vistarasya Me. Bhagavan, the blessed Lord, said, very well, O best among the Kurus, I shall indeed tell you my prominent divine glories. Hanta te katayishyami. Hanta means, okay, very well. Te katayishyami hi. To you I shall indeed tell. Kata means, can also mean story. Katayishyanti means I can narrate to you. Vistarasya in the manifestation, the prominent divine glories, for there is no end to my manifestation of glories. Pradhanyata Kurushreshta, prominent Pradhanyataha Kurushreshta, na Nasti anto vistarasya me. There is no end. Na asti antaha means there is no end. Na asti. There is no antaha means end. There's no end to my divine, to vistarasya me, my manifestations of glories. So there's no end. So I will only tell you the prominent one, the prominent manifestation. Atma Divya Vibhutaya, my divine manifestations. Okay. So now we will look at the meaning of the word Bhagavan. Bhagaha means sixfold wealth. Van means possessor. Jnanavan, Atmavan, one who possesses knowledge is called Jnanavan. Balavan, one who possesses strength is called a Balavan. Van means the possessor. Bhagaha, the sixfold wealth, one who enjoys in full measure the sixfold wealth is called a Bhagavan, like a Lord. And what is that? Aishwarya, Samagrasya, Veerasya, Yashasya, Shriyas, Jnanaha, Vairagyaha, Yoshchaivyah, San, Sannam, Bhaga, Itir, Itir, so the Sanskrit words are here wrong. The thing didn't come out properly. Okay. Aishwaryam, power, overlordship. It does not mean Aishwaryam. People think Aishwarya means wealth. No, Aishwarya means it's grand lordship. It is your like lordly nature, like just regal. So that is associated with wealth and all that, but it means regal, power, overlordship. Viryam, valor, courage. Yashaha means fame. Yasho, Yashaha, we've seen that. Jnanam means knowledge. Shri means prosperity. Shri, you see, Shri Lakshmi is called Shri. Prosperity. Vairagyam, freedom from all dependence. So, Ishvara means ruler, right? So Ishvarasya Bhava, status of being the ruler, controller of all these is Bhagavan. So that is why this word is used. The possessor of the sixfold wealth. 20th shloka. Bhagavan now starts with all his divine manifestations. Ahamatma Gudakesha Sarvabhutashayastitaha Aham Adishya Madhyam Cha Bhutanam Anta Eva Cha. Now he uses the word Gudakesha. Now Arjuna was given the name Gudakesha, but that is not the context it's used, and I'll tell you why. Arjuna fought the 18 days of the battle without sleeping. The war took, everything's 18 in Mahabharata. 18 Akshauhinis, 11 and 7. 11 on the Kaurava side, 7 on the Pandava side. 18 padas, 18 chapters, and 18 days of battle. And everything was like 18, 18, 18, 18. So 18 days he didn't sleep. And you know how he got the training? He got the training by from Dronacharya. Dronacharya told the Arjuna, person who gives meals for Arjuna, give meal to Arjuna only in the dark. So Arjuna was used to doing things in the dark. In the dark, people will fall asleep. Arjuna learned to eat from a plate in the dark. That is how in the Draupadi Swayamvara, he is able to shoot, he can shoot blindfolded. So Arjuna had such great skills. So sleep doesn't, he's conquered sleep. Gudaka Isha. Gudaka means tamoguna or nidra. So it can mean one who has such a fine intellect that the person has conquered the tamoguna, or it can mean one who has conquered sleep. So I will ask you a quiz question. Which is the context it is used? One who has conquered sleep, or one who has conquered tamoguna, or his intellect is fine? One who has a fine intellect, or one who has conquered sleep? What is the context Bhagavan is using when he calls Arjuna Gudakesha? Can anybody say? Fine intellect or conqueror of sleep?
Fine intellect.
Yes, and why is that?
Tamoguna.
Yeah, why is that? Huh?
Tamoguna.
Yeah, but why do you think he is using that context and not conqueror of sleep? Because when he didn't
He
sleep for
was
18 days, he was given the title Gudakesha.
internal.
No, simple.
I I
Bhagavad
was
Gita
thinking
comes
because
before
he
the
was
war.
saying all the good, all the, I
No,
mean, his vocabulary and all. No.
no. Bhagavad Gita comes before the war. You got the title after the war. So here, when Bhagavan says Gudakesha, he's referring to the conqueror of the Tamoguna, or the one with a fine intellect. So Aham, and the first thing he says is Aham Atma Gudakesha Sarva Bhutasya Stitaha. I am the fundamental consciousness which is in all living beings. That is the most important thing. That is what he says first. Aham Adishcha Madhyam Cha. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of all beings. What it means? I am the creator, I am the sustainer, and the one into which beings resolve. Um, Ashaya here means Sarva Bhuta Ashaya Stitaha. Ashaya here means mind. I am the one that resides in the heart or the mind of all beings, the consciousness. Sarva Bhuta Ashaya Stitaha. So that is, so maybe we will do one more sloka and we'll stop. Adityanam aham Vishnuhu Jyotisham Raviramshuman Marichir Marutam Asmi Nakshatranam aham Shashi. Of the Adityas, Aditya means one, the sons of Aditi. Aditi was a great woman. She had some of the greatest sons, and one of them was Vamana. Vamana was Aditi's son. So I am Vishnu, because Vamana is Vishnu's avatara. So Adityanam Aham Vishnu, of the sons of Aditi. Who's the greatest son? Vishnu. Vamana avatara. Jyotisham Ravir Amshuman. Ravi, he is the sun. Amshuman means one who possesses Amshu, the rays, like the arrows, all the rays. Amshuman, like Balaman, means the possessor of Amshus, all the rays, the radiance. I am the radiant sun. Marichihi, of the Marichis, of the Maruts, I am Marichihi. It's one of um, the celestial beings. Nakshatranam, now he's talking about all the celestial things in the sky. Of all the nakshatra means just luminaries in the sky. It's not, nakshatra doesn't mean star. Nakshatra means luminaries in the sky. I am Shashi, the moon. Okay, so with that, we will stop the recording and